Okay, so here's the ingredients that we're going to be needing for the casserole. We're going to need some flour, we're going to need some milk, some salt and pepper, and we're also going to be using some fresh nutmeg, okay, so it looks like that. We're going to be needing some garlic chives, some bacon, some broccoli, some potatoes that I had peeled and sliced, some cheddar cheese, and some pecorino romano cheese, or any kind of grated cheese you have. Parmesan is okay also. I just wanted to show you guys a little tip really quick because I wanted to, get some things done the night before to make my life a little bit easier. I had just prepped my potatoes and my broccoli the night before, and I just put my potatoes in the casserole dish, and then I put some cold water on top. I covered it, and that should keep the potatoes shape. It will take out some of the starches, but it should still taste completely fine. It shouldn't change the flavor of it really. And also it just keeps the potatoes from discoloration and drying out. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is I just got my bacon in a pan. This is 6 slices of bacon, and I'm just going to cook it until it's nice and crispy, and then I'm going to remove it and put it on some paper towels to drain. Okay, so I just finished with the bacon, and I have a lot of extra bacon fat, which I don't need. So actually, this is how I store my bacon fat, just in like this little jar, and it has a cover to go with it. So just very carefully, I, pour most of the excess bacon fat into here. Okay, I'm going to open it a little bit, turn the flame back on. And all I did was I chopped about 1/2 cup of the garlic chives. And if you don't have garlic chives, you can replace garlic chives for, some really well chopped, like 2 cloves of garlic. Okay, so I'm just gonna saute these. Okay, so it's gonna have the nice flavors of the bacon in there. So obviously you don't need to add salt to these because the bacon already had quite a lot of salt in it. So I'm going to let these saute probably for about a good solid 5 minutes until they're wilted, and then I'm going to remove them and put them on a plate, and we'll get the bechamel started. So let's get started on the bechamel sauce. I'll bring the camera over here so you can see what I'm doing more, but for now let's just get the measurements in. Okay, so I'm going to start by adding 4 tablespoons of butter to the pan. 1, roughly, it doesn't have to be perfect. 2, 4. Sorry, that's my dog playing with her squeak toy. Okay, Bonita, now is on a good side. Alright, and you're just going to get this completely melted, and then as soon as it's melted, here I'll show you what it looks like, delicious. As soon as it's melted, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of flour. So 4 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour. Okay, at this point I'm going to add my flour. The butter is almost completely melted. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a whisk, and I'm just going to immediately start whisking. Alright. And we're not looking for it to get, browned or anything like that. This is what we call a roux. Really all we want is for the flour to cook off. And that will just take maybe about, I'd say like 1 minute. And then after that, we're going to add cold milk. We're adding 3 cups of cold milk. It's important that you do cold. That way it will prevent lumps from forming. I'm going to try my best to work the camera while doing this because I don't have a proper tripod to give you good, shots. Okay, at this point I'm going to add my milk. So here I only have 2.5 cups. So put a little bit in and mix. Mix, 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 and you'll see that it gets really, really lumpy, and you're like, oh my god, what the heck does that mean? That's okay, don't freak out, you just add more. Just add it in increments, and just keep on whisking. Okay. I'm going to add the rest here. Then I have to add a 1/2 cup more after that. So right now it's really watery, but you'll see it. So basically what we need to do is just continue to keep whisking this and boiling it. Not high boil, you know, more like a simmer, and you'll see that it's going to start to thicken. So when it gets at that point, I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so my bechamel is just about finished. I just want to show you the consistency. So I used low-fat milk, so mine's going to be, you know, not as thick. But if you want to use whole milk, then that would be perfect. And also, I wanted it a little bit thin because we're going to be adding a lot of cheese to it. And it's going to, you know, get a bit thick from the cheese as well. So I just wanted to show you the consistency, and it's nice and smooth and there's no lumps. So now I'm going to put some seasoning in it. I'm going to put some salt, pepper, and freshly grated nutmeg. So I'm going to turn my bechamel off because I don't want it to get any creamier than this consistency. This is perfect for me and for what I'm going to be doing. This made about 3 cups worth of bechamel sauce. So now I'm just going to do some pepper. So this sauce is a basic white sauce. It's a classic French sauce, and it's, you know, the mother sauce in French cooking. They use it as a base for lots of different things. I'm going to put some salt and pepper to taste. And this is the start of like a cheese sauce, so which is what we're going to be making today. You can put cheese in here and it will get really cheesy and creamy, and you can use that all sorts of ways for casseroles or anything like that. So don't think about using the canned cream of mushroom soup or cream of chicken soup. You just make this, and once you know how to make it once, you know how to make it forever, and you'll have no problem at all. Just remember, use hot butter and flour to cold milk, and you shouldn't get any lumps, and just be patient. You know, don't feel like, oh my god, it's not getting thick, because, you know, there must be something wrong. Just wait it out, because mine is really thick now, and I was stirring for, you know, a good solid 5 to 6 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, and I forgot. I'm going to add some nutmeg. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my delicious garlic chives, and I'm going to add them to the bechamel sauce. And then we are going to add the cheese. Okay, so my bechamel sauce is off right now. I'm just mixing in different flavors at this point. So I'm using cheddar. And I'm just going to start with 2 thick slices of cheddar. And break this into pieces. I probably should have already had it broken, but that's okay. And I'm just going to mix it in there. Of course, it would work much better to grate the cheddar cheese in there. But I'm not very good at doing things ahead of time sometimes. So I'm just breaking it on in there. Okay, I'm going to give this a mix, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. How good does that look? We didn't finish adding all the cheeses in, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like with the cheddar in there. It has this nice light yellow color. And now what we're going to do is we want some sharpness as well, because I mean, the cheddar is a little sharp, but it's a pretty mild cheddar that I have, and I used 3 very thick slices, so you be the judge. You might want to use, it's probably the equivalent of like a 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese. I'm going to grate some Parmesan in there, a about a half a cup also. Okay, so that's a half a cup in there. And now, so you see how thick our sauce is getting, right? And you know, I chose to use low-fat milk because I felt like there's quite a lot of fat from the butter and the cheeses in there. So, you know, if you want to go all the way with this, you can totally do that, but I didn't think that it would really interfere with the flavors too much. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start to prepare my casserole. So I'll bring the camera back and forth so you can see what I'm doing. But basically, I just have a nice deep casserole dish that can go into the oven. All right, and I'm going to take a little bit of the bechamel sauce and put it on the bottom and just swirl it around. Okay, just like that. And I have my layers of potato, so I'm just going to put it down in a circle. And it doesn't have to be perfect because no one's really going to see this, you know. And then I'm going to put a little bit more bechamel, and just very gently, I'll probably use this. I'm going to spread the bechamel sauce on top of the potatoes. Okay. And then I'm going to take my broccoli, and I'm just going to put a few broccoli pieces down. Okay, not too many. So let me show you what it looks like. All right. Not too many. And then I just want to put some more bechamel right on top of the broccoli. And it's very creamy. Okay, so don't put too much, don't overdo it. And then I'm just going to repeat this. And I'm going to continue to repeat this process until I have no more potatoes left. I also sprinkled it with salt and pepper because really the only thing I realized that has salt and pepper is the bechamel sauce. So I'll probably sprinkle it with salt and pepper between all the layers. And I also wanted to mention that I am preheating my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 190 degrees Celsius while I'm doing this. Okay, so let me finish this up. Okay, so I had the perfect amount of bechamel sauce. I finished all of it completely. It layered, you know, in between the broccoli and the potatoes perfectly. I'm just going to top it off one more time with a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, and then easy on the salt, not too much, because we are going to top it off with some more grated cheese. Oil. We're going to put it in the oven and we're going to bake it for about a half hour covered, and then we're going to remove the cover and bake it for another 20 minutes to a half hour. Okay, I just want to show you what it looks like. It's taken a lot longer to bake than I thought. It's been baking covered for 1 hour, and now I'm going to take the cover off and I'm going to bake it for another 20 to 25 minutes. Probably what you can do actually to make the cooking time much faster is you can parboil the potatoes and blanch the broccoli. That way they're all pre-cooked beforehand and you don't have to let it cook all the way through like me, silly me. Okay, so in it goes for another half hour or so, and I'll tell you how much longer it takes. Okay, it's finally finished. It took a solid 1.5 hours. 1 hour in the oven covered, and then a half hour uncovered. So if you do have a while and you don't mind the fact that it takes an hour and a half, then it's well worth it. Now, just to gild the lily a little bit, I'm going to top this all off with bacon. Okay. And since this is extremely hot and bubbly, I'm going to let this rest for probably about 20 minutes before I even cut into it. So I'll give it a try. It looks really, really good. I'm one of those hot. It's really good. Definitely worth the wait. Anyway, I hope you give this a try, and until next time, bye.